when I got to HSN, like, they did everything they could to save my life and help me and get me into recovery. And my sister was the absolute driving force in this. Like, she wasn't really taking no for an answer. And, you know, having a life and death situation like that and knowing, like, this is it, like, I just can't live like this anymore, made a massive difference. Like, I saw what it was doing to my family. I saw what it was doing to, you know, my nephews. And it was heartbreaking. And I knew that I had to make a change, and I knew I had to do something.
So when Sam started to struggle, in the depths of his struggles, you go back to you're bonded so closely. And when somebody's struggling so deeply, it hurts you. Their pain, you genuinely feel it in your heart. And what can you do to take that pain away? How can you support them throughout the pain? So just as a sister who loves so deeply your family member, it's not, you don't want to see anybody in that kind of pain. So Sam, there's different levels of addiction that Sam's experienced, and Sam had a raging heroin, cocaine, meth, every single drug you could ever imagine. It was a raging addiction, and it controlled his entire life. It controlled every part of him, but deep down inside, Sam did not want to be addicted. And although it was controlling him, he continuously tried to stop. But the drugs were so powerful, he could not stop. Sam was hopeless. Sam was hopeless, and he was buried by his shame and his guilt. And often there were many times where people would tell me, just let him go. Just let him go, let him die. Complete strangers or people that we would know. And I think when you hear that, this is a life, whether it's my brother or it's a life, I can't let it go. And you would just bring it back to those moments where Sam was so vulnerable and he would want help so badly. And he would call me and say, I can't do this. I can't take this lifestyle anymore. I don't know what to do. And I'm sorry for disappointing you. And it was such a vicious cycle. When I couldn't find Sam, I would start my calls to the resources within Sudbury, the Sudbury Detox, the hospital. Am I getting the phone call? Am I getting the phone call that your brother is dead? And now I have to let my children know your uncle is dead. And that's something you fall asleep. You fall asleep with every single night. So Sam was safe and he was in good hands. Thankfully, they caught him at the right time because Sam had a wound, an injection site that was heavily infected. Sam was very open and honest about his health. However, this time he was very reluctant to let me see the injection site. Thankfully, it just so happened that he was admitted into the hospital and he went septic. So he was not on the streets. Had he been on the streets, had there been a period of 12 hours, maybe less, he would have died from septic shock on the streets. These are people. Somebody loves them, and something has brought them to this point, and they deserve recovery, and they can get recovery. However, they cannot alone because they are also trapped in those chains, but those chains are internal. At this point, as a collective community, we need to come together and remind them that they are loved and that we are here to support, even though we are complete strangers, but they are worth it.